Similar to how we showed you can make the envelopes more exponential, we can also do a cool little process on the wave shapes of the oscillators. For instance, we are going to take the CV track control and set it to the ABX setting, meaning that the control voltage controlling the frequency of this oscillator is coming from the CV input. Since we have nothing connected there, it's just going to remain a stationary frequency. We're going to turn the octave control down here to the 9 o'clock position. Waveform, it doesn't really matter. We're going to play with that control. And in the modulation section, we're going to set up external as our modulation source, and we are going to play with the B amount control to affect our waveform shape. Now we need one patch cable. We're going to plug it into the wave B output, and the other end of that we're going to plug into the oscillator mod input. Basically what that's doing is it's taking the waveform that we select here, running it out, back in to the external input here, which we're going to let the oscillator modulate its own frequency. In the filter section, we've got the filter set up for a low pass filter type, cutoff frequency just a little higher than 12 o'clock, and resonance turned all the way up, causing the filter to self-oscillate. Envelope amount is turned to 0, it'll have no effect. And the mod select, we're going to select waveform B, and the amount, we're going to turn it up to about the 1 o'clock position. So let's go ahead and set you up here so you can see the oscilloscope. And there we have our sine wave, a low frequency of oscillator B. Let's go ahead and trigger a note. And what we're hearing now is oscillator B sweeping the frequency of the filter. As we increase the B amount in the oscillator modulation section, watch what happens to the waveform. Let's go ahead and do this. You can see that it's, instead of a sinusoidal shape, we've got these cone-like peaks. Now let's decrease the modulation. And it turns back into our sine wave waveform. Let's go ahead and try a different waveform. Let's go ahead and select the triangular waveform. We can speed that up a little bit. And there's our triangle. Our modulation is turned all the way down, but now as we increase the modulation, let's watch what happens to that waveform. Notice how it's changing shape. Now let's slow down oscillator B's frequency. And again, let's turn the modulation all the way down. And there's our typical triangle waveform. Now let's go ahead and try the sawtooth waveform. We get a down sweeping frequency of the oscillator. Let's go ahead and increase the modulation amount and watch what happens to its waveform. As you can hear, we've got a very nice envelope sound that is exponential in its shape and perfect for creating percussive type sounds. Now let's say we wanted to animate the frequency of oscillator B a little bit more. Since we were set up for oscillator B to track the CV input, let's go ahead and plug the CV in to the LFO out. And now we've got, let's select the sawtooth waveform for the LFO. And we get a very nice percussive type effect. Now if we select triangle in the LFO, we get a speeding up and slowing down. So those are just some really fun things you can do, and just to remind you that those waveforms you see on the front panel are not the only waveforms that you can produce with the Access, especially when you're using this self-modification technique that we're describing here. So play with it, enjoy, and have fun.